Hey YouTube, this is Brendan with Cusack Prep, and in this video we're going to be discussing how we can use exponent rules to simplify expressions. Go ahead and add expressions into here. So the thing about exponent rules, you probably know them. You probably know that if I were to write something like x squared times x to the fifth, you would just turn this into x to the seventh because you add these up here. So that kind of brings us to the basic rule of x to the a times x to the b is equal to x to the a plus b. Now, what you probably didn't know is that you can actually go the opposite way with this, and sometimes that's helpful in simplifying, sometimes it's not. For example, if I had something like x to the 2 plus x, I could go ahead and turn this into x squared times x to the x. So not the way that you usually go. It doesn't necessarily make it more simple in this case, but it's something that you want to start to become more comfortable with as you go further along in math. You're so used to going from something like this to something like this, and we want to start retraining your brain to go the other way. So let's take a look at another example where you may find this a little bit more helpful. So let's say we had something like e to the fifth plus ln of let's say 2. So let's see if we can make this any simpler by splitting it up. Well, what we can start by doing is turning this into e to the fifth times ln of 2 times e to the ln of 2, because we know that if we do that, that's allowed, because adding the exponents is the same as multiplying the base. If you want to check, just kind of verify that you can go from here over to here. Now, you may or may not remember some of your logarithm rules, and we'll go ahead and write them out here. If you have e to the ln of anything, that's always just going to equal whatever that anything is. If you have, let's say, a to the log base a of x, so the base of your exponential matches the base of your logarithm, that's just going to equal x. So we can use this exponent rule to simplify this a little bit further. E to the ln of 2, well, e to the ln of a is just a, so e to the ln of 2 is just 2. So we could write this as e to the fifth times 2. And it's convention to write the constant in front, so we would turn this into 2 times e to the fifth, or simply 2 times e to the fifth. All right? Now, another exponent rule that we know that we can use to simplify things is if we have x raised to the a raised to the b, well, that's simply going to be x to the a times b. And again, we want to start thinking about how we can use these rules to go the other way with problems. So let's say I had something like 2 to the 3x. Well, something I could do here is I could turn this into 2 to the 3 raised to the x, and now evaluate 2 to the 3 is 8. So this could just be 8 to the x. There are also occasionally problems where you want to go the other way with this, where instead of 8 to the x, you may want to put in that 2 to the 3x form. And so it's important to recognize that you can go in between both here. An example of a problem where you want to go the other way might be if you have something like this. Maybe you have 9 to the 3x over 3 to the 2x, and you wanted to simplify that. Well, one way to simplify it is you can try to make these two bases the same. We can't do anything with the exponents unless those bases are the same. So 9, I could turn into 3 squared. Once again, when I have exponents raised to exponents, I multiply them. And what I want to do at this point is I want to subtract. Now that my bases are the same, I can simply subtract the exponents that are forming them. So this would become 3 to the 4x, which, we could go a little bit further. We could say that this is 3 to the 4 to the x, and 3 to the 4th is 243, so this would be 243 to the x. So the idea here is that you not one of these answers is necessarily better than the other one. It just depends on what problem you're doing. You may find one of these to be a little bit easier to evaluate than another one, given whatever type of problem you're working on. So that's that. It's basically kind of how you can use exponent rules to simplify expressions. Hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to leave a comment below if you have any additional questions. Thank you for watching.